I'm paying a lot of attention to the ways that great design teams elevate craft in their org. And today I want to shine a light on two companies, Ramp and Plaid, because they put processes in place that I'm 100% going to steal.
When we sweat the details, it actually pays off. In fact, sweat the details is one of our company values.
That's Christoph, the head of design at Plaid. And I'm going to highlight some of the specific ways that they sweat the details. And it all starts with investing in feedback.
The best designs come from design teams, not designers. And it's all about the feedback loops you create within the team.
The problem is too many teams have a weekly crit, and that's it. So what happens is the formality of crit increases over time. And this is something that Diego Zacks, the VP of design at Ramp, saw happen as the company scaled.
People were spending a lot of time preparing for it and making these big presentations and, hey, I want it to look good. And I'm making all these transitions in Figma and all this stuff. And actually the work became 20% of it.
Now, I've never been one to make particularly pretty decks, but I've been in this situation multiple times. And having a single weekly crit puts a ton of pressure on designers to make the most out of that time. As a result, you're probably only talking about the high level, really big strategy decisions. So here's how Diego handled that at Ramp.
Great. If you want to be formal, here's a place where you're really formal. And then let's create all these other avenues for you to get feedback. The least formal one, the safest environment that you have, is we've created these truth-seeking pods, which is 3 or 4 designers that are across the entire platform. So they're not working on the same things. They get together 2 or 3 times a week. And every time that they get together, a different person presents their work through the lens of a decision that they've made. So the goal is to have a very small group of high trust people that are going to help you deconstruct the decision, a framework that got you somewhere. And you set the expectation that you want real feedback. You want people to be kind, not nice.
This model sounds like a dream to work in, honestly, but even if you don't have the equivalent, you can still create a culture of craft by following Brian Lovin's advice of working with the garage door open. Here's what that looks like at Plaid.
That's a huge part of my philosophy as a design leader is the designers need to always have, again, the garage door up. You need to let people see what you're working on, comment on it, and really give you that sort of ongoing feedback that was so crucial. Problem I've seen many different design teams struggle with, where designers wait a little too long before they share their work. And so one, when you're too deep into the work, you sort of have an emotional attachment to the solutions. And so the feedback you get feels like an attack on you, not on the work. And people start to defend their solution or their ideas rather than listening to the feedback. And it's also often a little too late really to kind of shift. The designer is likely running out of time. And so they're showing the final thing, there's only so much you're going to be able to change before you need to go and build this. And so making sure designers share their work at the beginning of the idea, here's a little concept I have. I've made a sketch on a napkin. Let's talk about my sketch on a napkin.
Now, you've probably heard the advice share early and often before, but Christoph highlighted another benefit to exposing more of your design process that really stood out to me.
It also was a way for design to expose the process, how we get to the final solution, because a lot of design teams tend to be a little mysterious. So really opening the door, including in how things are being made, it just feels easier. It feels a lot more approachable. I've rarely found an engineer, a product manager who's followed along the process of a project from a design perspective, really got to see everything and gets to the end of it and think I don't think you guys got it. I think you guys are terrible. I've never seen it, especially if you had multiple chances to contribute, add your own flavor, comment. When it's really open, you demystify everything, but it also, on the other end, means, it's a lot more collaborative, and then everyone really has a sense of pride. You've been along this journey, you care more about something you've put, time, energy, thought into, and so you really want to be proud of what gets out, and you start sweating the details, even in the code and how you architect it.
Real quick message, and then we can jump back into it. So you know how I've been talking about how I use Genway to do research with AI? Well, something surprising is happening. And just for context, I use Genway in 2 different ways. One is contextual interviews. So I prompt the AI with what I'm hoping to learn, and it has a dynamic conversation with each person. And the second is usability testing. So I upload a Figma prototype, and their AI agent helps me test them with people all over the world. I mean, you should see the quality of the follow-up questions. It's pretty crazy. But here's the surprising part. At the end of the interview, most people say they're more comfortable opening up to an AI agent than a real human. And it's just another reason why I'm hooked on the product. If you want to try it out, there's even a secret landing page just for Dive Club listeners, which gets you 2 months free and 10 credits to recruit people. Just head to dive.club/Genway. That's GENWAY. Raycast has a new announcement, but it's not what you'd expect. It's a partnership with Terminal to create a Flow coffee, and they released this beautiful behind-the-scenes video to go with it. And I scooped a bag, but not just because I love coffee, and obviously the Terminal website is beautiful. The whole thing is a window into what Raycast cares about and stands for as a company. And their commitment to quality and making things that they're proud of goes way beyond productivity, and it makes me proud to support them as a company. So definitely check out the new Terminal collab. You can learn more at dive.club/coffee. Okay, now on to the episode. Now there's one more process at Plaid that I want to shine a light on because I would have killed to have this at Maven.
A new thing that we started about a year ago, and I don't know if many design teams do this, but I find it to be super powerful, and my entire team loves it. It's something we call polish reviews. We've created this panel of, I think, currently 4 ICs, like really senior ICs on the team, who really understand this design system, have really good eye for like the little things, the little like margins are slightly off, or like they're like consistency with this other experience. We have a content designer who's like looking at all the words, like, is there a typo? Is there a word that a button that doesn't use a verb, but use a noun, and we don't do that. So like really paying attention to those details. And so that panel, which is always the same, so there's a consistency, they see everything, will be receiving that Figma file at the very last moment before it gets shipped up to like building, like before the engineers start working on it. They'll review it one last time. They have 24, 48 hours. I think it kind of depends on the project. And they'll just nitpick. It's like really final moment of like fixing things.
Look, it doesn't matter how senior you are. If you're staring at the same set of pixels, before long, you're going to start to miss things. But the value isn't just proofreading or increasing the quality of the product. It's also leveling up the abilities of the entire org.
We kind of did a little retro on it recently with the team. And the panel, I asked the panel, hey, how is it different now than it was a year ago when you're reviewing those designs? And they're saying that, they used to have 20, 30 comments on a file altogether a year ago. And now it's 5, 6, 7. Awesome. And it's really just the designers have all the feedback they got. Now they incorporate into their work from, the early stages. And so it just makes better designers as well. So it's been a super powerful tool for us.
Not only is InFlight my attempt at productizing a lot of these practices, but it's also a blank canvas of a design org. So I'm paying a lot of attention to the specific processes and rituals that the best design teams are doing. So there will definitely be future episodes on this topic, but that's all for now, and I will see you next week.